Good morning, scholars. Today we're going to continue our analysis of the prologue of the Heracles Furens, looking at lines 13 to 17a. So let's begin by reciting those lines. Lipon de tebas, hu katorszáin ego, megaran te tende, penterus te paisemos, argeia te ke, kai kuklopian polen, orexat oikein, hein ego bugo, tanon electu ona. Again. Lipon de tebas, hu katorszáin ego, megaran te tende, penterus te paisemos, argeia te ke, kai kuklopian polen, orexat oikein, hein ego bugo, tanon electu ona. Okay, so let's begin by looking at the principal parts of lείπω, our first word in the passage, lipon. Okay, you see, again, this is from Smythe's Index of Verbs, and you should pay attention first to the way he has, after lείπω, the parentheses, and he gives you the three stems. Lep, loip, and lip. Okay? And the present stem, lείπω, is always a lengthened form of some other more basic stem, and that stem is seen, among other places, in a second aorist, like the lip, lambda, iota, pi. So you see, the principal parts here, the future λείψω, a second aorist elipon, second perfect leloipa, have left, have failed, and then middle λείπομai, to remain, or passive, I am left, I am inferior, lelemai, eleptein, then future passive leptesomai, and then the future perfect, lelepsomai, and lepteos, the verbal adjective. Okay, the future middle lepsomai is rarely passive; is sometimes passive. So, what's important or noticeable, especially about this principal part? These principal parts are the way that the vowel change from lep to loip to lip is a paradigmatic example of vowel gradation. Okay, and you can read about that at section 476 of Smythe. And I'm not going to go into it here because I don't want this video to be very long, but if you're interested in vowel gradation, and you should be, take a look at 476 of Smythe. Now, lipon de tebas, okay, tebas, accusative plural, Smythe's 1005. Names of towns and parts of bodies are sometimes plural. So, Athenai, Athens, Thebai, Thebes, okay, Stene and Sterna for breast, etc. Okay, so to understand that. And then, lipon de tebas, hu katorszáin ego. And here we're back to the table of correlative adverbs that I'm so big on. And these are the adverbs of place here. And you see on the first line, the fourth column over, you have this who, where. Alternatively, inta, which we've seen earlier in our passage, but who, where. Lipon de tebas, hu katorszáin ego. So you have, looking at these columns again, and get used to this. First column, the interrogative, direct or indirect, who, where are you? And then the indefinite form, which is identical except that it's enclitic, who, somewhere. And then we have the demonstrative, and we'll see that later, inta, intada, eke, intata. There are several forms there. But then who, the relative form. Okay? Who κατώκισθην ego, and then hopu, wherever, the indefinite relative. So I cannot emphasize enough how it's important that one have this chart at hand until one masters these, because they will appear numerous times on every page of Greek that you're ever going to read. Okay. So some of our vocab. Κατωκίσθω means to settle or establish, but here we have the passive, the first person singular passive, κατωκίσθην, to be settled. So, and then we have penteroi, the family of one's wife. Okay, so, and then a little more vocabulary. Tεῖχος, τεῖχος to, is a wall, especially a wall around the city. Okay, Argeia teke kai kuklopion polen. And you need to see that tεῖχος is a noun third declension that's declined like togenos, because its root actually ends in sigma with an epsilon sigma. So you have the same issues that you have with genos that we saw earlier, but I want you to direct your attention to the plural forms, genea, which becomes gene. So we have tekea, which becomes teke, teke. Okay? So teke, tekon, tekese, teke. Argeia teke kai kuklopion polen. And tεῖχος can represent the city wall both in the singular and in the plural. Okay, so that's important to realize. Okay. Now, the kai here, argeia teke kai kuklopion polen, Denniston's Greek particles treats this on page 291. He says, appositionally related ideas are occasionally linked by kai, as some times they're linked by de. There are several examples of this in Heracles. So, argeia teke kai kuklopion polen just refers to mycene. There's, two different expressions that are referring to the same thing. So these are just appositionally related ideas put together by kai, linked by kai. Okay, so a good little bit from Denniston. Okay, then we have ωρέγω. Here we have ωρέξατ. Ωρέγω means to reach. The middle means to stretch oneself. So metaphorically, it means to yearn for, to desire strongly, and it takes a complementary infinitive. ωρέγω boyan, I desire to live. So we have the principal parts listed. I've taken the display of the principal parts from Smythe's index. ωρέγω, reach. Then you have some poetic forms that you'll see in Homer. ωρέγνουμαι, he'll make it a me verb. ωρέξω, ωρέξα, which he says is rare in prose, but here we have it in poetry. Actually, we have the middle, which is a little later. ωρέγομαι, to stretch my self-desire. ωρέξομαι, rare in prose, but ωρέξαμεν, okay, but he says that, but usually you have ωρέκτην as middle. But here we do have the middle, not in the passive form, but ωρέξαμεν, we have the third singular, ωρέξατ οἰκέω, okay, patron. Okay. So again, when you're dealing with Smythe's index of verbs, you really want to concentrate on the ones he gives in bold, although the ones that aren't in bold you will encounter if you're reading Homer and such. Okay. Then we have, for another vocabulary, oikeo. I just thought this would be a nice one to look at the actual dictionary entry in the middle little. So you have oikeo, and you see the oikeo is epic form. And then he gives the principal parts of it, which are pretty straightforward, of an epsilon contract verb. But then transitively, it means to inhabit or occupy. Passive, it means to be inhabited. So here we have patron oikein, to inhabit his fatherland, the home of his fathers. Passive, to be settled, of those to whom new abodes are assigned. And thirdly, under the 2, the Roman numeral 2, you have, it can mean to manage, direct, or govern, like the oikeo, and that's in Sophocles and such. Okay, intransitively, not taking an object, it can mean just simply to dwell, to live, to be settled. Exoton kakon oikein gluku. Sweet it is to live free of cares. That's from Sophocles. Exoton kakon oikein gluku. And then of cities, in a passive sense, it can mean to be settled, to be situated, to conduct oneself, or to be conducted so-and-so. So phronos ge oikusa polis oieu an oikoto. Okay, so phronos ge oikusa polis eu an oikoto. A state with habits of self-control would be well-governed. Okay, from Plato. Okay, I like to look at the full dictionary entries from time to time to make people appreciate what's to be gained from just taking your time and learning, studying the full entry. Okay, okay. So now we're going to jump to pugo, the principal parts of pugo. Again, we have pugo, puxomai, Smythe 806. That's where we see these verbs connected with physical motion have their futures in the middle. And then the second aorist, epugon, and the second perfect, pepuga. Okay, so pugo, puxomai, epugon, pepuga. Those are the ones you'd really want to learn and practice and make sure you're comfortable with. Okay. And here is that rule about the future. Future middles with active meaning. Many verbs have no active future, but use instead the future middle in an active sense. Okay, so lambano has leipsomai, gignosko has nosomai. Most such verbs denote a physical action, as the action of the vocal cords, organs, the action of the organs of sight, hearing, smell, touch, the action of the throat, mouth, lips, bodily activity in general, voluntary or involuntary, and other aspects of the physical side of the human organism. And so section 806 of Smythe lists all the verbs that behave this way, with this future with the middle. And it's kind of a cool section. And one day I will make a video dedicated to that section because I like it quite a bit. Okay. Now, but here we have henego pugo. We have this use of henego pugo tanon electuona. We have this use of the present with a future sense. So this is what's going on with pugo here. So if we read Smythe 1886, present for perfect. Heiko, I have come, I have arrived. Oikomai, I am gone, have a perfect sense. But also erkomai and apiknumai. Thus Themistocles heiko parase. Themistocles have come to you. And oida hope oikonto, I know where they have gone. Okay? So what's really relevant, or what we really need to get to, is 1887. He says, the present of certain verbs often express an enduring result and can be translated as by the perfect. So adiko, I am guilty, can be translated as I have done wrong. And let's just jump down to pugo. You see pugo, I am the defendant, or I am an exile, okay, can be translated as I have gone into exile. Okay, so which I fled, hein ego pugo danon electuona. So that's what we have going on here, and I encourage people to look at this passage themselves. Like I say, I don't want to linger over these things. Okay. And then we have a very important verb if you're going to be reading tragedy. Tεῖνω, tεῖνω, to kill. And looking at the principal parts of that, well, let's look at the stems first. In those parentheses, you have κτέν, ton, and tan. Okay? And usually, in prose, you have the prepositional prefix apo in front of it. Apo κτείνω. And in poetry, you have kata κτείνω. But here in our Euripides, we're going to see just a simple verb without any prepositional prefix. So you have apo κτείνω, and then τεῖνω is the future. Κτείνα is the first aorist, and then ap ektona is the second perfect. And those, again, are the forms that you really need to pay attention to just to memorize or write them again and again, like write those 1, 2, 3, 4 forms out, like say 10 times. And in order to begin to implant them on your brain. But in Attic prose, you see down, I'm reading further down, in Attic prose, apothnesko is generally used as the passive of apoktείνω. So apoktείνω means to kill, but apothnesko means to die or be killed. Okay? And very important words, because needless to say, in Homer and in Greek tragedy, there's a lot of killing and being killed. Okay. Now I wanted to mention, remember our passage opens with λείπω de Thebas. I wanted to just point out the inflection of second aorist participles. I think there's a lot of, I know when I was reading Greek as an intermediate student, I spent a lot of time looking at these sections where Smythe lays out the various tenses of the participles. So we see here all participles in omega, nu, are inflected like luon. Those having on with the acute accent, having the accent on, ontos, etc., as lipon, lipusa, lipon, having left. So the point of all this is simply that the accent on the ultima of lipon, that tips you off that you're dealing with a second aorist participle. If you don't already know the stem, aren't able to recognize the stem as such. Okay? So these forms are very important, and there's no way to learn these except by writing them out repeatedly. Okay? But let's look at on, being. Okay? On, usa on, ontas, uses, ontos, onte, use, onte, onta, usan, on. Ontes, usai, onta, onton, uson, onton, use, usais, use, ontas, usas, onta. Yeah, these are a little troublesome, but like I say, if you work at it, you'll get it. So that's basically our vocabulary. You see the last word tanon in line 16. I mean, that's recognizable as a second aorist participle, nominative singular, masculine, of tεῖνω, either because, well, both because you know the stem of the second aorist and because you see that accent on the last syllable, tanon. Okay? So here we go. λείπω de Thebas, who κατώκεισθεν εγώ, megaron tende penterus te paisemos, argeia teke kai kuklopian polen, orexat oiken, hen ego pugo danon, elek tu ona. Okay, I'll do it now slowly and according to the Kaisera so you can repeat after me. λείπω de Thebas, who κατώκεισθεν εγώ, Megaran tetende penterus tepaisemos argeia teke kai kuklopian polen orexat oikein hein ego pugo danon electu ona. Okay. So that's 13 to 17a of Euripides Heracles Furens. If you have any questions, ask them in the comment box, anything I didn't explain or that you don't understand. And I hope you have a very good day and keep working hard. Goodbye.